Hey everybody, I decided to do my speech on something that a lot of people, pretty much everybody, has a question of, and that is, do you need a degree to be successful, to start a business, things of that nature. So I did some research on it, farther than just the preference of each person of, do I want a degree, do I want to spend all that time or not. In my research, I found that Abraham Lincoln and Ben Franklin, they didn't get any degrees. Obviously, it's a different time period and what jobs were needed back then, but still, that was kind of interesting. 64% of business owners had some college when they started their business. 23% of them had bachelor's, and 17% had a graduate degree, master's, doctorate, stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting to see that, as most business owners had at least some experience, and the ones didn't say anything. I didn't find anything about business owners right out of high school, but um, something interesting I thought, and I'm sure a lot of people think about. We hear the people that dropped out of college, stuff like that, and became billionaires. You don't hear of anybody that ever went to college and became successful, and that's just due to a better storyline. It's more interesting to hear about someone that dropped out of college, became a billionaire. And that's just a lot more exciting to hear about, and obviously, I think it's not very good either, because it may or may not persuade someone to not go to college and get an education, and then they don't make it in life. Um, some reasons why not to get a degree, is obviously cost. Costs, getting degrees is expensive. Even getting an associate's degree is expensive, let alone a bachelor's and so on. After that, and then obviously time. It takes a long time to do it, especially for someone like me where I work full time. Um, I've been just going half time, taking 2 classes a semester for 4 years just to get my 2 year degree. But you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Um, Some that I've fallen to, obviously, the general AA is boring. You got to take a lot of classes that you don't want to take. So that's another reason why a lot of people want to get a degree. It's because you got to take classes that you don't want to take. It's not interesting to them. Um, and then the negative of the formal system of education, like that falls in line with that other thing too. Reasons why to get a degree, obviously, if you're going to have a career change, you're going to want to have a piece of paper that says, hey, I'm better than the next guy when you apply for those jobs. Obviously, knowledge and the skills that you earn from the degree is very helpful in life down the road. And you develop patterns of learning, and stuff like that. And I also did some research on people that got successful and didn't get a degree, and then the people that were successful and did get a degree. Obviously, two of the most famous ones would be Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. Mark, obviously, everyone knows he's the founder, creator of Facebook. Something interesting about him was that he made a messaging system at age 12 that his dad used in his dad's dental office. A little bit after that, he was making computer games for his friends. So this kid was a freak of nature as far as his knowledge and his skills that he had, his interests and stuff like that. He even developed the first generation Pandora, which was called Synapse, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. And then Microsoft and AOL tried hiring him before he graduated, and he turned that down. And he was smart enough to get accepted into Harvard, which was pretty impressive. He dropped out of that, formed Facebook, became a billionaire. Steve Jobs, same type of thing. He, at a young kid, young age, he was making computers. School didn't work very well for him, so he didn't study. His teachers had to bribe him to study, stuff like that. And he started Apple at age 21. But obviously, these two are just very, very smart people. So I guess they don't really have good examples, and that's why they don't really work for good inspiration to people, because these guys were one in a million people. People that did get degrees, Chad Hurley and John Schnatter. Chad Hurley created YouTube. He got a bachelor's degree in fine arts. He worked for eBay and then made YouTube in 2005. Sold it to Google in 2006 for over $1.5 billion. And then John Schnatter, he's better known as Papa John's. At age 15, he started making pizzas out of the back of his dad's business. Sold a 74 Camaro to start his business. And then the rest is history. Everyone knows about that. He got a bachelor's degree in business, very generic. But these two people, they got degrees, and they went on and made it. But obviously, it goes down to, in my opinion, personal preference. Do you want to spend the money and spend the time, or do you not want to? For instance, I think that you should at least get a bachelor's degree. Have something to fall back on. But that's that.